Learned helplessness, when the mind gives up before the body does. In the modern language of psychology, few concepts are as quietly unsettling as learned helplessness. Coined in the late 20th century by the American psychologist Martin Seligman, the term describes a state in which individuals come to believe that their actions no longer matter. After repeated exposure to uncontrollable negative situations, they stop trying to change their circumstances, even when escape or improvement becomes possible. The origins of the idea lie in laboratory experiments that now provoke as much ethical debate as scientific interest. In these studies, animals were exposed to unpleasant stimuli they could not avoid. Over time, they ceased attempting to escape altogether. Most strikingly, when later placed in situations where escape was easy, many did nothing. The lesson was disturbing yet powerful. The expectation of failure can be learned, and once learned, it can override instinct, motivation, and reason. What makes learned helplessness so compelling is how closely it mirrors human experience. In everyday life, people encounter repeated failures at school, at work, or in relationships. When effort is consistently met with disappointment, the mind may quietly draw a dangerous conclusion: nothing I do will make a difference. At that point, inaction feels logical rather than lazy. The problem is not a lack of ability, but a loss of belief in agency. This phenomenon has been closely linked to depression and anxiety. Individuals suffering from learned helplessness often display low motivation, emotional numbness, and a tendency to explain negative events as permanent and personal. If a person believes failure is inevitable and success accidental, resilience erodes. The future begins to look closed, narrow, and predetermined. Yet learned helplessness is not limited to individual psychology. Social scientists have observed similar patterns at a collective level. Communities facing long-term poverty, political instability, or systemic discrimination may gradually lose faith in institutions and personal effort alike. When structural barriers repeatedly block progress, withdrawal can appear rational. In this sense, learned helplessness becomes not just a psychological issue, but a cultural and political one. The good news is that what is learned can, at least partially, be unlearned. Research suggests that restoring a sense of control is key. Small, achievable successes can begin to reverse the pattern, especially when individuals are encouraged to reinterpret failure as temporary and specific rather than permanent and universal. This approach later evolved into what psychologists call learned optimism, a framework that emphasizes explanatory style and cognitive flexibility. In an age shaped by economic uncertainty, social comparison, and constant digital feedback, learned helplessness may be more relevant than ever. Algorithms reward attention, not effort. Global problems appear vast and immovable. Against this backdrop, the quiet decision to try again can feel almost radical. Ultimately, learned helplessness reminds us that the most powerful cages are often invisible. They are built not from walls, but from expectations. And while dismantling them is rarely easy, recognizing their existence is the first, crucial step toward walking free.